that kind of run in the Attitude Era was such a highlight for me. But of course, that wasn't the first time you'd faced the Hearts in Calgary, because you were part of that incredible Canadian Stampede 10-man tag a year before, which is still one of my favorite matches of all time. I mean, I don't think you'll ever hear a pop to the level of that crowd that night for the Hearts. Was there ever? I'm interested, because that time, obviously, you had your relationship with Bret. We'd already seen the setup at WrestleMania 13. You're in the mix in the main event there. Was there ever any talk of you and Bret having a world title feud together in summer and fall of '97? Because I've heard it said, and you can tell me if this is correct, Ken, that you were on the very short list of people that Bret was willing to drop the title to before leaving WCW.
Yes, no doubt. Me and Bret had great chemistry because of the style of which Bret wrestled. He was more closer to who I was. And we could have put, even with the limited time that we spent together, that we got to work against one another, we were able to put something together even in that small time. But being able to work in a program and getting to, we could have, I mean, it would have been stuff that you'd never seen. It would have been incredible. But, the world works out in weird ways. It is what it is, and it was what it's supposed to be because it is. Yeah. But again, I did see big potential there to do that. And it's funny, too, because it was almost like we delayed what we could have had then to when Brock Lesnar or Ronda Rousey came in and started doing what they were doing. That was something that would have been something I seen myself doing why they brought me in to go in and do those sorts of things. Unfortunately, I'm not in the back rooms of putting this stuff together, and they've done a lot of great things for me, and they were able to build certain matches and make great decisions for me in a lot of different areas. But I think that's one where I got kind of confused on where we were going.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting, and you're not the only one. I mean, I've got in my notes here that a quote that Jim Cornette said many years ago, and he kind of talked about how you were introduced in 1997 in in a fairly kind of low key way. And these are Jim Cornette's words. He said that the WWF took a guy who had sold 300,000 pay-per-views and turned him into one more wrestler. I thought we missed a big opportunity to create Brock Lesnar before there was Brock Lesnar. And I can see where he's coming from there, because I mean, there was a lot of people obviously at the time. UFC wasn't known to a lot of the fan base at that time. It's very, very different to the world now. If a UFC wrestler entered a WWE ring, everyone would know them now. But at the time, there was a kind of period of education was needed, really, wasn't there, in terms of what UFC was, what MMA was. The idea of kind of submission holds wasn't particularly well known within the world of professional wrestling. We didn't have tapping out. So it was a real kind of, you coming in was, I mean, you were presented as something different, but I think there's more that could have been done, arguably, to have really separated you as a truly unique kind of one-of-a-kind competitor.
Yeah, and I never, ever want to ignore, some of the greatest things that I was able to be involved with in UFC and obviously WWE now. And I had the privilege to do that. So, it's hard to criticize things that have given you so much. Yeah. Even though in life, just like in life, and just like everything we do, sometimes things don't ever get maximized because we don't make good decisions or do the right things at the right time or right moment. But we still enjoy life. And I think that's kind of what this was that I can't just ignore the fact that I was in the biggest wrestling company in the world and I was able to succeed at so many levels. You can look back on hindsight and criticize whatever you want, but man, that would take away from the actual glory that I got from it. And so I want to focus on those things, like the things that were good, the things that benefited me and benefited them, and had a great time doing it.